Thank you for listening to our presentation today on the Safeguard American Food Export Act of 2013, also known as S541 and HR 1094. The purpose of this act is to prohibit the sales or transport of equines and equine parts in interstate or foreign commerce for human consumption. The primary goal of this act is to ban the slaughter of U.S. horses in all countries. The goal has been put in place for many years by many different activist groups, and the SAFE Act is a very roundabout way of accomplishing this goal once and for all. The main objective of this policy is to ensure the safety of the food system. Meat from horses raised in the United States threatens this safety due to the drugs given to the animals. These drugs have potential serious health risks involved for all those who consume them, thus making them unfit to be consumed.
Next, we're going to talk about the likely impacts of the SAFE Act. According to GovTrack, the most realistic outcome would be that the act does not pass. There's been a lot of legislation that has been tried to put into place by animal rights organizations, and so far horse slaughter has not been banned in the United States. So if the SAFE Act does not pass, the activists will likely continue to pursue the illegalization of horse slaughter in the United States, as well as continue to advocate for not allowing any of the federal spending to be budgeted for horse meat inspections. If the SAFE Act does pass, likely the animal welfare activists will be quite happy in the fact that they feel that horses will not be transported in cramped spaces to endure inhumane treatment for foreign consumption of horse meat. Although this does seem ideal, those opposed to the SAFE Act have other issues that are not addressed by the bill. Placement of horses is called into question, as well as the funding of essential equine needs. Another issue is creating standards of care to ensure humane treatment of all the horses that would have gone to slaughter if that was a legal means of dealing with unwanted horses. Another thing not dealt with in the SAFE Act is the ability of it to weaken the USDA's current authority over humane transportation of horses going to slaughter. And some final issues include the economic benefits from horse slaughter as it generates revenue for the United States economy, as well as some environmental impacts that could occur as the disposal of horses needs to not negatively impact the environment.
Currently, the federal government has placed a restriction on USDA funds for inspection of horse processing facilities. These restrictions have been very successful in preventing an equine slaughterhouse from opening thus far. While this measure is not permanent and needs to be voted on every year, it has been able to accomplish the goal of eliminating horse slaughter in the U.S. since 2007. Another alternative measure to specifically ensure the safety of the meat produced is to set up a horse slaughterhouse under the EU regulations, as it's done in Canada and Mexico. EU regulations ensure the safety of food in Europe, where the main market of horse meat is located. Finally, the last option is to create regulations for auction houses. Under these regulations, horses being sold at auction houses would be required to have a valid and up-to-date record of the drugs that have been given to them and used on them. This will be able to separate the animals which are fit to be bought for slaughter from the ones that are not. While the last two do not accomplish the main goal of eliminating horse slaughter, they meet the standards of the objective, which keeps the food system safe.
Thank you.